On the terrace of the Arc de Triomphe, Bernard Thévenet was the first rider to win the yellow jersey on the Champs-Élysées. Since 1975, one of the most famous stretches of City Road has been a beautiful sporting stadium. Time to celebrate 40 years.
If you just had to pick one in terms of prestige and what everybody else would think about it, then you'd pick the Champs-Élysées?
That's the ultimate goal. You want to survive. You want to arrive on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. To have that beautiful lap of honor there.
It's the most beautiful city in the world, no doubt. It's just the architecture, the history, but no doubt the Tour de France has enhanced that beauty.
Well, one of the best wins was when Bernardino won wearing the yellow jersey. That's a class of a man doing it, the ultimate performance of his career, and a Frenchman at that.
It's difficult to imagine anything bigger than the Champs-Élysées. It's one of the most beautiful avenues in the world. So many spectators. I really don't know how you could do better. Above all, in France.
We have about 1,500 people, cyclists. 500 of them are in the World Tour. 200 start the tour, and maybe 160, 150 survive the tour. So it's a very elite group of people actually arriving in Paris, if you can be part of that. But it's still a vicious, hard race. It's like all this easygoing parade until you first time cross the finish line, and that is like in the old tradition, the start signal for the real race. Everybody's free to go. Out of respect, you let the yellow jersey team cross the Champs-Élysées first time in front. But as soon as we hit the finish line the first time, and they had their picture taken with the yellow jersey in the front, the race is open. And race, like really race.
It's true that it's hard, but it is for everyone. So everyone knows that. But I think that as soon as you get to the final day, you forget that it's difficult. You so want to get to the end and to have the opportunity to win that you don't notice that it's difficult.
All the suffering you've been through over the 3.5 weeks, and you ride into Paris, you see the Eiffel Tower, you get goosebumps. You ride onto the Champs-Élysées and there's, I don't know, 1 million people or whatever it is, just go absolutely wild as the bunch turns onto the Champs. And one of the special things for me, and I'm even getting goosebumps right now, is we used to turn on and I always knew roughly where my family was sitting, and they were waving an Australian flag, and I could always have a quick look as I was following the wheels and give them a little wave. My wife was there and my son. So that was always really special. And so the atmosphere of the Champs-Élysées was definitely above all the rest.
It's the dream of all the French riders to arrive on the Champs-Élysées and to win. Whatever way it happens, whether it be in a sprint or in a breakaway, it's not that simple because there are lots of competitors for the final victory, especially for the Champs-Élysées, which is prestigious.
Many observe. Others sacrifice themselves for the team. A few cement their jersey on the final day. Or simply, if you're a sprinter, surviving to have a chance to shine along the famous avenue. The Champs-Élysées is never forgotten.
They said it's an easy day. So I didn't really eat much because I thought, it's an easy day. Nobody told me that you go full gas on the first time finish line. So I was like hunger flat, sugar flat. I'm like, why these idiots didn't tell me? It's such a hard race. So I was like a little mad at them, and then I'm in the team bus and like, cracking open a beer, having a piece of pizza. Oh, tour's done. Whoa, how good is that? And at the end, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm just relaxing and having my beer and my pizza. I said, no, get dressed. We got to go again. It's like, no, we don't. The tour is finished. And they didn't tell me about the lap of honor. I have done 17 years of cycling until I finished my first Tour de France. And like in this first seconds on this lap of honor, the first time, I was so overwhelmed by the emotions and the support of the people watching it that I went, all the 17 years, it's worth for this one moment here now. This is worth all the suffering, the risk, the crashes and everything. That was beautiful. Definitely it was beautiful.
The best arrival for me, although Laurent Fignon would never agree, was when Laurent lost the Tour in the last day time trial in '89. Greg LeMond was the winner. There was Cathy and Greg LeMond standing at my feet while I was commentating. They were screaming and leaping for joy. On the left-hand side, Laurent Fignon was lying on the road. The realisation that he just lost the Tour de France by 8 seconds.
I realized when you watch the Tour de France, why I think people love that Tour de France is that it was Fignon. It was I had the yellow jersey, he had it, and it came down to 8 seconds, which is unique.
1997 was my first time on the Champs, my first Tour de France, and I think I was more excited than anything else. I wasn't nervous. I was trying really hard, and it was very tough. but I was just excited to be there and just enjoying riding up and down.
When you're racing, it's kind of a blur of the crowds. You really just, you're in tunnel vision when you're racing. And so then when you win, you know, you're surrounded by journalists, your family. You're really not seen outside of that group. But when I won, it was about as good a feeling as you can get. Kind of one of those things you wish you could repeat.
Growing up, you know, as a young rider, before I turned pro, watching the Tour on TV, you tune in, you see the Champs-Élysées and dream of being there, and then to win there it's more than a dream come true.
Well, I guess I was carrying a whole bag of emotions that day. I mean, proud that I made it one more time at the age of, you know, close to being 43. I did get selected for the Tour de France again. I made it to Paris, and I believe I did the job that was expected of me, maybe even a little more. I survived another tour without crashes. That's a nice bonus, believe me on that one. But knowing it's my last time I'm going to be racing Champs-Élysées, the last time I'm going to have 1 million people standing outside the line and watching my show. And yeah, the last big bike race. The tour is always a big chapter in my life, and finishing my last tour, there's a beautiful little black and white picture out there on the internet where I'm just sitting on this like little side barriers just all by myself, and just needed like a second to myself to let it sink in that it was great, but it's finished and a new chapter in my life starts.
This is the most hallowed street in Europe. It's special, and it's the only place you should finish the best sporting event in the world.